Sorry, I'm
I
super
just
dark for some reason as well. I look like a different ethnic origin today. It's because I've literally just finished legs. I had like 45 minutes to get some legs done.
Did you manage?
yeah.
Well, it was just a tickle today because I was squatting 800 pounds last week
Oh yeah.
and I pulled my hamstring. Well, I was playing crazy golf. I pulled the hamstring. So I'll just pretend I was squatting 800 pounds. So yeah, it was just a little tickler because I didn't want to pop anything off. So yeah, it was all right. Thanks. Just
Good.
not enough time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just back. The last few days, I'm actually just like sleepy as fuck. It's like, but we persist.
You're doing
Yeah,
the
because you're back up to like 290, aren't you, James? 280.
Yeah, 290, 291 now.
3 pounds on there.
I even that's what my weight just goes up without trying. Like it's not really, you know. Just.
Can you remember back in the day when you used to just be force feeding like all day?
Oh mate, I remember.
Scale at the end of the week, just put a pound on it, like fuck.
Dude, I remember when I first got to whatever 16 stone is, and I thought, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm massive now.
That's 224.
Yeah, yeah, and now it's like you feel so far off what you could potentially do and be, but I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I'm pretty fucking heavy, really, for someone that's, for a human being.
It does get more. It does get more comfortable. But I think you need those times to go and like push, like when you're younger, just go and feel like what being heavy looks like and like deal with it. And then you pull back to what's a bit more sensible and yeah, it feels a lot easier. I remember the first time being 290, I felt like actual death. Heavy breathing. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, bud, I'm going to get this shaking within 20 minutes of the post-workout window. I'll just fade away.
Otherwise, you faded away.
Remember when you used to do that as well? You like literally have to have your shake within like 30 seconds.
Oh no, if I don't have it, so the whole workout didn't count. Yeah.
Oh.
Different time. I was having this conversation earlier, but I will go into that later. Actually, this conversation I was going to talk about because I think me and you spoke about it already. We probably have on text because we speak about everything and moan about everything. So yeah,
we just grumble about the same shit on here.
I know.
That's what it is. Never mind. We'll just keep grumbling about the same
stuff. Shall I do the introduction?
Go on.
Shall I?
We definitely don't know what episode this is again. Just so you know. Should we say 30? I reckon 30.
I reckon 30.
Yeah, I reckon 30.
Nobody cares anyway, but like
30.
All right. Well, welcome back
to Dan. Sorry, I said this to Dan. Go on, Dan. I'll let you do the intro first. Sorry.
Oh no, we have to the intro.
No, I'm atomic bomb to the hilt, so I'll slow down. Hence the red space.
Welcome back to 100% or Nothing podcast. This is episode 30-ish. We have James Hollingshead has graced us with his presence after his many outings since we last spoke. Leroy has returned from working underground in the mines.
With the dwarf.
He's been uncontactable for weeks. He's back. Somehow got a suntan underground. And we're back in the game. And then you got me and Anth, who you've been putting up with on our own for a while, so we're back.
Yeah, well, I did say we were going to jump on last week, and Dan said, "Oh, our conversation's just shit, and so we're not going back on."
That's not what happened. Is that how you?
I know what you said.
Is that how you logged it?
And Dan said he's sick of me doing clickbait. What do you call it? Thumbnails with like insults on. So I'm not doing the thumbnail this week. Dan's going to do the thumbnail. He probably put something that insults me on there. Yeah, I did. Dan, what did I say this one? We get some great guests on here, and there's some really good podcasts. We just don't promote it enough, unfortunately. So yeah, we need to do more of that stuff.
I was thinking about this, like I probably was having a bath or something because I'm old, and I was just thinking about how even like myself or anything, I'm still an active bodybuilder, but how how relevant people like even me are, it seems now compared to the young 20-something-year-old classic boys coming up and how much more exposure they get. Even though I'm still going, I'm like, shit, it's already kicking in. Like you can still be like, you can be an active bodybuilder still and actually start to like be like, oh, I'm old news.
So, yeah, you got to stay relevant, haven't you, James? That's the kind of thing to do with.
But then at the same time, what is relevant? Like the who to?
What could be more relevant than you being on stage twice this year?
For sure, and you, the thing is, you stay relevant with the community that you've kind of been relevant for. I think it's the community that's shifted, not the relevancy. So now it's just all the young guys. their community is a different one than ours completely now. Because I noticed this. The reason I noticed this is because I trained with Jack Eagles when we were in FIBO, and I've got like a lot of people sharing the story of us training together that would have never known who I was. And I'm like, man, I've been doing this. I've got some skin in the game. I've been doing it a while, and these guys don't even know who half the open bodybuilders are because we're not their cup of tea. It's just, it's not nothing. I ain't got nothing bad to say about it. It's just a reflection of like, well, where bodybuilding's at. Like, you can literally still be doing pretty okay, placing top 3 in pro shows, and people ain't got a fucking clue.
Yeah, I said that. It's not better or worse, it's just different, isn't it?
Just different, yeah.
Different now, yeah.
But wouldn't you still, like, even if you're into like classic or physique, wouldn't you still want to see the freak show? I don't get it.
Yeah, but because we would.
Yeah,
we would.
But is it now where like it's like people are like, well, it's too much. I wouldn't want to look like them. It's ridiculous.
Perhaps. I think so.
How horrific.
We were saying this the other day as well.
We need to go back to the Leroy Davis days where you like had one check-in a week and that was it.
Mate, I love that. Like
checking every day now, don't I?
Yeah, and it's just too much, man. That's like why we sometimes say that it's a bit of a weird scene now. And the thing I noticed, and I think I said this to you, is that the reason that bodybuilding, this is all this podcast is going to be, the reason that bodybuilding is off a little bit for me now is that any of us here know that when we did a competition back in the day, we got off the stage and then it was pretty quiet for a year and we were able to just collect our thoughts and try to improve. There was no post-show analysis by 100 different people online with their social media outlets and pages saying, oh, he's shit here or shit there, needs to do this. Is he done? Is he still going? There was none of that noise. You literally came off stage and the only people that you reflected upon, the result was your close circle. And you're like, you know what, next year I'm going to come back and win the fucking thing. And that silence, that quiet for a year, just let you crack on. There's no distraction. I used to love that.
Sorry, James, I wasn't being rude. I was just checking that I did press record because we had.
Yeah, no, you did. But you know what I mean? Like the bliss actually was the silence after the show because it allowed you to just put your head down and crack on. Now, like what I notice is for 3 weeks after a show, you get like you're either getting praised or ridiculed, one or the other, which are both just as bad as each other, really. Because I was saying this to my friend earlier, you either get loads of smoke blown up your ass by people you don't even know, or you get ripped apart by people you don't even know. And ultimately, if none of these people know you, it doesn't fucking matter. But you're in a time where that's mostly what you're going to start seeing and hearing. I miss the old days where you just got off the stage and you're like, you know what, I got third this year. My objective is next year I'm going to win, and now I get to work.
Leroy, you just went home, overate massively, then smashed your wardrobe door off because you didn't win.
Oh yeah, and eat a bowl of cereal. You didn't have to do like
you didn't have to put a massive post up explaining what happened and all that.
No, exactly. You didn't have to. Yeah, exactly.
Back in the gym, didn't you?
And like I say, if you fucking go on a bit of a bender with the food, it ain't no one's business what you did. So, fuck off. I do what I do to deal with myself.
What did you do, Leroy?
Did you back then?
Did you go back to like Temple and like you'd have a little focus group?
Well, it was back to work, wasn't it? You just cracked on. You got back to the gym, a few pats on the shoulder, on the back, and well done, and you got on with it. And the people who were giving, who were fucking, well, nowadays they're ripping you apart. Who the fuck are they? They're probably never been on this fucking stage. You know what I mean? So it's not even worth. They're not even worth talking about, to be honest. They're more fucking reading their shit that they're writing down.
Well, it just wouldn't happen because they'd have to do it to your face. And I imagine people that weren't just coming down the stairs at Temple and being like, hey, you guys are shit. I think you need more biceps. You just get your face exploded immediately.
Obviously it's a different world nowadays, isn't it? And the media, social media, it plays such a massive part now. And so many people are hooked into it and believe every word they read. They're so fucking gullible. So it's sad, but that's our future. Unfortunately, them twats are our future. God help us. God help us.
Like I was at the FIBO show watching it, and I'm looking at all the reports of the show online and how uneducated all these people are that weren't there. But I'm just thinking to myself, man, unless and what I'm trying to say is it's basically the same with anyone online, because when you're not there and you don't witness something, you don't know shit. And that's the same with someone ridiculing your physique, having never stood in front of you and analysed it in person. Same kind of thing, So I found that I was quite frustrated after fucking FIBO because I'm there in person and obviously I had my opinion of how I felt the show went. And I think I've got a pretty fucking good eye and I can judge a show. And then you got like twerps online that are like, nah, this is why, this is why. And I went, oh, was you in the front row as well? And then they're like replying, they're like, no, I wasn't at the show. I'm sitting in the fucking front row, mate. I'm there. Like,
Yeah.
and I know bodybuilding, and if I'm making a call on something and I think something's thingy, then it's a pretty fucking good opinion. I'm not a fucking idiot. But anyway, that's the thing. Everyone looks at people from afar. No one's looking at anyone in person, and they're making all these judgment calls and saying someone's shit, someone's good. All the opinions don't matter unless you know the person in person. You walk in a room with them and see them pose in front of a fucking mirror.
What do you know,
Everyone's
James?
an
You've only been
expert.
doing this 20+ years, so what do you know?
It's, mate, you think that's how people treat me? They think they're like, oh, what do you know? I'm like, fuck me, brother. Dude, I've been doing this through my teens, my 20s, my 30s, and probably into my fucking 40s. Like how we all, you know. So it's a funny old time, but it's not all negative. It's just I like to highlight negative sometimes just to create some sort of conversation.
Do you, with that in mind, do you think that some bodybuilders look better on footage
Yeah,
and,
it can be either way.
and they can get like better hype because the footage favors them? Like,
Well, for example, the FIBO show. Andrew's my friend. I love Andrew. I think I think he can win the Olympia if he nails it. That's why I'm frustrated because I'm like, I want to see him at his best. I'm at this show, and honestly, he's 60%. And I'm like, and I've said it to everybody. If you give someone like Andrew a nod and let them win at 60% of their potential, when's he ever going to show his potential? And that's upsetting for me as a fan of bodybuilding and as a friend of Andrew, because you're making him. You might make that fucker lazy. You know what I mean? So, for me, I think I don't know. I just think I was there in person, like I say, and pictures do make him look quite good because he's got muscle insertions that sit really well. If you have muscles all in the right place, even when you're not super lean, if they just sit well, they photograph pretty well. And then there's other people that don't necessarily have the same amount of separation and shape, so therefore they have to be super lean in order to see what's going on. I think that's one of them situations for me. That I was just a bit. Pictures are definitely making him look better, and people were thinking he's better than he was on the day.
so all right, in person, what was it?
He was well off, like Andrew.
Yeah,
My boy.
I mean, even I mean, obviously, I'm looking at
No, but
photos,
I think the most off I've ever seen Andrew, and I've known Andrew for a long time,
really.
like
So,
2005, 6 years. I think 5 years.
what order was that? I mean, first, I mean, I was just watching, but
The thing is, it's like the argument is, yeah, he's so much more muscular than everyone else. Yeah, but take his frame and put it down to 5'8", the same as Sass. Is he any more muscular than them? Probably not.
Pound
He's
for
just
pound.
no, probably not. He's 285, 90 pounds, whatever, but that's just because of stature. So I hate this whole thing. Oh, he's bigger because then I'm not being funny. There's other guys in our lineup that have got more muscle and softer that probably could have placed higher if you were judging it like that.
well, big isn't. It's a muscularity contest, not a big contest.
Exactly. So it's like how much muscle's on your bone. I don't know. I just feel like I'm very. The reason I'm very opinionated on this, and I'm not trying to create issues, it's just I just want everyone coming in at the best.
Yeah,
That's the only reason. It's not because I'm like I've got a problem with anybody. I've been fan of Andrew, fan of Sass. Listen, Justin Musical, whatever his name has got fourth. I would have had him as high as second based on how good he presented himself. I would have had Sass first, him second, because of they actually did the homework and brought the condition of a bodybuilder.
What was Bonac saying in real life? Because he looked
Very
back.
good, very
He
good.
looked like, don't sleep on that guy.
Yeah,
Like,
no, do you know what with Bonac? Size, bro.
yes, fuck.
Delts are like that, arms are like that. Everything's so big. Like he was big and in good condition, therefore he wins. You know what I mean? It's
I
kind of
mean,
like bring both, because everyone can bring both. Well, they can be their biggest they can be and bring condition as well. So yeah, and I'm nowhere near fucking Andrew's level. So people listening might be like, oh well, but no judges on the level of a Mr. Olympia, and they judged Mr. Olympia. I'm just speaking from a perspective of judging bodybuilding properly.
yeah, but you're not saying like a couple of percent. You're saying Andrew was the most off ever. That's not
More off than I've ever seen him, and he was huge for it because he was huge. Because when you're huge, if you're not on, you're huge.
Yeah.
So, but it was definitely like closer to guest bot for me for Andrew. He's got
Yeah.
good. The thing is, he's got good muscle insertions. So like his midsection and stuff, like his abs are always there, whether he's fat or not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was fat, but all I'm saying is that of everybody in the show, his condition was probably second to last, best condition, or maybe last.
Mm.
And that,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
sent me a WhatsApp, James, because obviously I saw the pictures online and stuff, and I asked your opinion. I remember you sent me a WhatsApp.
yeah,
Kind of, obviously you're down the front, just from the
more like
side. You
side
could see
on.
like the
There's a
lower
big
back.
difference.
So it was like holding a bit of body fat. Not, it wasn't even just water. It wasn't.
The
even
thing
body
is,
fat
for
on
Andrew, his trunk was really thick, and his trunk isn't thick, so that's how I know he's not down in
there.
shape.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Again, I'm not personally. Just if I'm not a judge, but if I was judging, then I would have given him a little bit of a because I want him to be better than that. I would have said, come back in 4 weeks, do another show. You'll piss it because you potentially Mr. Olympia, but you do need to get some more fat off. And I was talking to Asito after, and Asito probably, if he hears this, he'll think, what a knob. But it is what it is. Like you have to penalize people when they don't tick the box. And other athletes in that lineup tick every box. Yeah, they may not be as structurally large, but that's God-given genetic. You can't change that. And if you don't want bodybuilding, if you want people to bodybuild and not be like, well, I don't have the genetics, what's the fucking point? Then you can't let genetic potential and genetic things like structure alone override other people's work. Because that's a problem we're going to face. We're going to face people with beautiful structures beating people that are actually better at bodybuilding for the term of bodybuilding, but they'll never have the structure of the guy that wins. So what's the point? Like any of it, like we could all be like this as pros. We could be like, well, I ain't going to turn up because there's a guy from Nigeria who's got crazy physique. Oh, there's a guy from Middle East, he's got crazy physique. There's a guy from, when you're looking at like genetics standout shapes and structures like Barus and people like that, you could easily be like, why the fuck should I turn up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't have that mentality. So all you can do is your homework, and all you can do is work really hard and hope that you come in like someone like Branch Warren, if you're like white, for example, and just come in with good condition and muscularity and hope that it does enough.
So you actually get a fair shake, basically, because like you say,
Yeah.
you're just kind of shooting yourself down because you haven't got a shape and structure like Flex Wheeler. Have you guys ever been back? Because we've all done this, and we've all competed, and like you're backstage and you're having a look around, and generally, like even when you're feeling confident, you think, "Oh shit, he's like pretty good." Like, have you ever had anybody where backstage you thought they've looked really good, and then on stage they've looked shit from the video or pictures, and vice versa? Because I've been backstage before, I'm thinking, shit, like
he's gonna kick my ass.
This guy here's probably got the nod today, and he gets fifth. I'm like, oh, that happened. Like,
yeah, I think it has happened. Obviously, I've been backstage with. I remember like doing like the Europa Pro show and people shows like that, and you've got like Rafa in that backstage, and obviously they've got incredible shapes. And I remember Rafa coming like fifth in that show. And again, same thing like you say, I like looking at him structurally, you're like, man, that guy's gonna win. But there's just so many other attributes that come to life when you walk on stage: density, thickness. Even like for example, when muscle's moving, when it's actually in the flesh and moving, what sort of things are you seeing happening with the muscle? Is it slabs on slabs or is it not? Is it
1,000%? I remember the first time I saw Phil Heath backstage at the Olympia, because there was one year that they cocked up and sold our VIP tickets. So like, sorry guys, we have sold your tickets. We'll give you some other tickets. They're not as good, but we'll give you some backstage passes. And I saw like Phil backstage, and he looked a bit soft and a bit soggy, just standing there, just kind of relaxed. Obviously, he's not the most widest of people. He's quite narrow. I thought, shit, like he's going to get whopped today, and he just like this. Ronnie was the same. He actually looked fat backstage.
Yeah, because he's kind of like
just so big, and then
he's almost like
that
up. Arched back, didn't he, old Ronnie? Like he's so fucking big. He's like stomach out there, and he just put it in.
Leroy says the two backs. That was a perfect example of two backs. It was like blip, blip.
Yeah,
it was like hanging
second
off.
one on
Your first pro show and backstage, fucking hell, your conditioning and your size were phenomenal when all the other lads turned up. But it just when because of their obviously experience, their time served. When they got on stage, they just fucking changed completely. And like James said, things start moving, muscles start moving, serrations start popping, and they had fuck all that backstage. Yeah, I mean, it just completely changed. But they brought their physiques alive when they hit that under them lights. I
was just a bit flat that day, unfortunately. I was in shape. I honestly don't think I could have got much more body fat off, but I was just a bit flat and a bit tired. And I'll be honest, when I was backstage, I actually thought, I could be in with a nod here type of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Swap, so never mind.
Bonak
was backstage and guest posing. What can you remember? He's like a block of muscle. I remember he got a picture took. It was like, fuck.
What show was that again?
It was the Body Power 212. I was just
a little bit flat.
I had some like, oh Jesus, 2014 maybe. Yeah. I was a bit flat, and also had a bit of stomach distension, which kind of just throws everything. If
Oh,
you've
if
left
you're
it
flat,
with
yeah,
shoulder
yeah,
and quad,
yeah.
it just throws everything off, unfortunately. So never mind. It was a weird year, that one.
A lot
Never
going on.
mind.
It's,
That was the whitefish diarrhea, wasn't it?
Whitefish
I
diarrhea,
didn't really
then.
want to say that, but yeah, I remember I was in the toilet. Like, what are you doing in there? I was actually having a suppository in the toilet because my stomach I just couldn't go to the bathroom. It
Oh,
went from
no.
like not being able to going all the time to like not being able to go. There was just
Yeah.
I think it was due to like lots of external stress. But I was eating like white fish and baby rice for the whole diet for about 10 weeks.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, you've been there, James, when your stomach just does not want to play. And you have
Oh,
to
mate, yeah. And it
everything
happens.
kind of stomach.
It's like you say, it's normally the external stress that makes the stomach go that way. It's like when something's bothering you, your stomach starts to not cooperate, and you're like, for fuck's sake. And it always happens last minute when you're about to compete. Cheers for that. I was looking good till like last Wednesday.
Yeah, that was the other year when you had the big air horn. And you're like, whoa. It was like, what the fuck? Who's that with the horn? Shame we don't see that anymore. Do you? Everybody's like little quiet and like
The atmosphere. They're too fucking scared to create an atmosphere now, aren't they? Who's looking at me? They're too because the phones come out, don't they? And people take, look at this twat making a noise.
Yeah, because back in the day, innit? Yeah, you used to always have the horns.
Yeah.
Especially like the British finals. It's like, if Zach can't come out and, because people love to freak. I remember being in the audience and having that go off and loved it. It's fun.
Yeah, what we might do is Ultraflex Open August 30th. I think it's the 30th.
Hand out some trumpet.
Yeah, we might just hand out 23 air horns just to get it going again.
Yeah, man. It does help the atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, everybody seems to be scared to like shout or clap now.
Mate, I scream. I was at the FIBO shouting for fucking Sasan, and my voice went. Because I was just like, man, you got this. You fucking got this all day. Fucking easy. He's not even in shape. And I know Andrew can hear me as well. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, he's off. It's yours all day. Because it's mostly because I wanted the judges to hear me. Because I'm like, fucking listen to what I'm saying, man.
Dan, there's the perfect thumbnail. We need to get some views. So like Holland's Head says,
fucking listen to me, judges. Andrew, yeah, no.
Holland's Head Weinsberg is full of shit. Actually, sorry, I didn't know if he did judge that show. I don't think he was at FIBO, was he?
It was Tyler was there. Yeah.
They
like him. I know they like the guys big because I remember when Nathan won New York, he was huge. He was like kind of like a bigger version of himself. But I just still think it's got to be a line, man. There's got to be a line of a level of condition that's been obtained so that you can say, yeah, he actually dieted for the show.
Yeah, didn't Nathan get a little bit of slack for that? And did he do?
Yeah, and then he come back, Caddy
shredded,
peeled out of his mind and destroyed the show and beat Sass actually. So just come in shape, man.
So what order did you reckon it was? I mean, top three were the ones lingering.
Honestly, like if I'm real and I don't have any names in there and none of that shit, I probably would have gone Sass, Justin, and then if I'm sticking to my criteria, like maybe Sergio, but I even Sergio again, another friend of mine. He was down muscled from previous Sergio in the back. I felt that he's lost quite a lot of back muscle from the posterior. Maybe just because he's had a busy year, like not knowing where he wanted to be and then finally getting stabilized, back home in the US. I think that it kind of hurts you when you're trying to have an off season and you're always on the move. So maybe he would have been third or fourth. And then Andrew would have been like, man, like honestly, Andrew, for that, I would have been like fifth place, bro. Come back. It was kind of like Kai Green in 2011 when he came in at like 300 pounds and they gave him seventh place in Olympia. And then the next year he was like, fuck that. Came back and got second because he just got in proper shape again. And I sound like a broken record, but I'm just saying, keep the fucking, keep the criteria strict, man. Make everyone do the work. Like, make everyone suffer a little bit to get in shape. It's just as simple.
Yeah, the judges have got to do that, don't they? They've got to be harsh. They've got to judge properly. They've got to judge professionally.
For sure.
Everyone has favourites, but you can't show favourites when they're on the stage.
No, and
everybody's gone through the same shit.
For sure, and then also like that also allows an opportunity for someone else then to become a popular bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Like someone like Sass, who I think deserves a place at the Olympia, that helps his life if he gets to the Olympia. So for him to like not get to the Olympia when someone else is not quite as on the money at that show, for me it just leaves a little bit of a. If you want bodybuilding to be fun, there has to be a change of who's there. There has to be this constant evolution of the athletes that make it to the stage. If you keep giving the same people the nod all the time, it's the same show every year, and it's actually quite fucking boring.
It doesn't progress, does it?
No.
Time,
Yeah,
Like, imagine
don't have the
same
balls
shit.
to put somebody where they should go.
Imagine having like Sass, Baruz, and all those kind of really aesthetic fucking guys on stage. How good the quality of the Olympia would look in a photo. You'd be like, these guys are all fucking like on point. It's like it would just look good.
Yeah. Do you think they're trying to like just? Can they try? Do you think there's part of them trying to build the Olympia? Like they've got an idea of who.
Social media is the most influential thing in current times, isn't it? Following is so important. As much as people say no, it's nothing to do with that. Subconsciously, deep down, at the end of the day, the Olympia is a show where tickets need to be sold. And if someone has a massive, massive fan base and audience and is really spoke about, Nick Walker, Andrew Jacked, Derek Lunsford, like them not being there hurts the fucking ticket sales. So, but then at the same time, Andrew and people like that, any of them, shouldn't look at that as like, oh, I'll be here regardless. You should still fucking deliver, man. Deliver for your own pride. Like, deliver for your own pride so that when you look at the photo from that show, you're proud of it. Because that's what ultimately bodybuilding is meant to be for all of us. Like, most of us say, dude, I was just chasing a certain look, one that I could be proud of. And wherever it got me landed, I landed there. So that's why I'm kind of against the idea of just getting people's names there, because I'm like, again, I want them to be able to look back at their career and look at the physiques they displayed and be like impressed by their own efforts. So I actually care about the athlete. I don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah, Sasan's not a huge social media guy. I know he does his bits and pieces, but he's not a big social media guy. And I spoke to him yesterday. Well, a couple of days ago, actually, he was going to come. He was going to hop on this evening, but I think he said he'd been at Comic-Con with Leanne and the kids. And
Daddy.
I think his kids is he said his bedroom's like next to the office. So next time we do one, if we do it a little bit earlier, we'll jump on. So
Sass is a really good
both
guy.
of you guys on.
Sass is cool, man.
Guy,
yeah, and then obviously we were hanging out at like Detroit and stuff, so that was cool to catch up with him and whatnot and just spend some time, with other bodybuilders. And he looked phenomenal there. And then I think he might have looked, I don't know what show he looked better at, 'cause it's hard to say, because the Detroit has that nice black backdrop, kind of adds to everybody's physique. So he definitely was. Sass is really good at keeping the physique looking fresh, which is not always easy to do. So I've got to give him respect for that as well.
Yeah, he just keeps his head down and cracks on and shows up in shape, doesn't he?
Does, and eats 200 grams of honey with a meal.
Yeah, I know. That's just like the cars.
Fuck me, like 100 gram of oats with 200 gram of honey. It's like you got more honey than oats.
I'm pretty sure I saw one of his off-season shakes or something, because I do catch his YouTube now and again, because check out his YouTube, guys. But yeah, I saw a big, massive kind of breakfast shake with a little kilo of honey in there.
But then that's the thing, and if you say, oh, someone like Sass isn't big enough, mate, he's eating like a fucking absolute champion. And the only reason he's not big enough is because he's got himself down into the condition where he's not as large as he is in off season, which surely is the objective of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I just
massive.
He's not small. That's what I mean. He's not. When people are like, he's not fucking small. Jesus, he's like 245 pounds on stage, pretty fucking shredded, and only at like 5 foot, what, 7, 8? I don't know what he is.
5'8", something like that.
Yeah,
yeah. It's just because he's not 6 feet tall, isn't it?
Same weight as fucking Phil Heath was when he won the Olympia, if not a little bit heavier, I think. So if it's fine for Phil Heath, it should be fine for someone like Sass. But yeah, not a lot other than that's been happening though. I know I'm waffling. Been gym today, trained, and just did some shoulders and triceps. Low volume.
Well, how many weeks is it now, James? About two weeks since you've kind of been back from.
Yeah.
Not a week, isn't it? Since you've been back from Isn't the well? I say the folks. You're not married, are you? So
no, but I still kind of call them that.
Yeah.
So I've only been training for about 2 weeks, like on this like low volume approach that Anth kindly suggested during this rest period, because I just wanted to go straight into like recovery. I just wanted to come off everything and just feel better and just relax. So after having a conversation with Anth,
myself and Dan have this conversation. As much as it's like, it doesn't take much discipline to push, because it's the natural kind of where we are. It does take some discipline to like say, hey, let's pull it back a little bit. That takes a bit of mental fortitude as well, doesn't it? Because you feel like you're not doing enough, but I think sometimes you've got to, don't you?
Mate, the good thing is I've felt no issue with doing it because I was that far into the hole. So I must have needed this, because there's some days where I'm like, you know what, like I could easily take 2 days off in a row, 3 days off, like just go with how you feel. The good thing is like the appetite is in a pretty good spot. So Had a Nando's tonight because it's Sunday. I had my little Nando's just to break it up a little bit, but I didn't really fancy actually because I'm really enjoying the food I'm eating. So it's like one of them.
Dan loves a good cheat meal. Not you're like, please have a cheat meal.
Yeah, I
Dan
don't really
doesn't hate-
fancy it, do you?
Dan
Like, because
hates food.
you're eating enough as it is. So it's like, where can I fit this fucking food in? Like, I know
Well,
you're
I just think as well, like if I go have a cheat meal, I've got to ask the wife, like, hey, what do you want? Oh, I
What do you
don't
fancy?
really know. Oh, fuck off.
turns into a long event.
Like, then you've got to have a whole conversation. Then you've got to go and get it. It's got it. It's wrong. It's taken it. And
Cold.
now
That's a hassle.
I've missed my meal timing.
Timing, yeah.
Now the next one's fucked. So I've got to stuff that one in.
Yep.
And like, oh, it's just a ball ache, isn't it? It's like, well, it's in the fridge. I just fucking eat that.
What's happening nowadays with you, Lee? Right? Because I know you've had a little break from training due to work taking over and stuff. Are you still kind of chicken and rice man? I know you said you just have a little nice. Mandy's a good cook, so it'd be hard to like not eat the festivals and stuff.
I try and eat. I try and eat as clean as I can. However, if I fancy something, I'll have it. If I fancy a bit of cake, I'm a cake man. If I fancy a bit of cake or like McDonald's or whatever, I'll have it. I'm not super strict no more. I try, but obviously not going stupidly overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done that gig, haven't you, for many years?
I think there comes a time for all of us where you got to just say, you know what, fuck this.
Honestly, I could quite happily go all day without even eating a meal. It's like weird.
it's
I've had like 3 meals today. I got 2 meals and a shake, and I keep saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna ramp it up. And then I ramp it up, and I think, do you need to? Like,
I feel kind of shit for ramping it up.
yeah, coming up to 35, so I need a bit of a break.
Do you get like holding this head? Do you get like the point after the show where you're like still really hungry, and you can eat everything, or does it subside quite quickly nowadays? 'Cause I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I'd like come off stage and like there was an insatiable appetite that you couldn't out eat. There was no getting out of it. There was nothing. I don't know whether it's if you're smaller or whatever, you're not used to that hunger signal because you can't out eat it, can you?
No, I do get that for like about a week, and then I have to just like tell myself don't let the sweet tooth take over, because it's normally a sweet tooth thing for me. Because then it's if you submit to that sweet tooth thing, then it prolongs. It makes it just hard to get rid of. You get the taste for it. It's like a vampire with fucking blood. So I just try not to do anything drastic in the first week. I try not to spoil myself too much with choice and foods, because it can really set off a bad example for myself. And then I do go down that roller coaster ride of like wanting to eat all the shit that I shouldn't really eat. So if I can just get past that first week without doing that, I'm normally pretty good. But I am starving for the first week, especially after a show. If you're, all the things like thyroid and all that are still kind of working, and then if you give yourself like a week or two where you pull everything back, you do notice it starts to subside, especially if you sensibly increase the food.
Yeah.
Because then you're just getting enough. Like right now, the amount of food I'm eating is perfectly covering me. I don't feel like I need to eat anything else. But
I mean,
your body weight's gone up, isn't it? So
yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, well, I have it with people that I coach that are maybe newer to the game or a bit smaller.
Knew I used to blow up after a show, D.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I just
what's the worst weight gain? Then, what's your worst weight gain? Like, I know what mine is. I'm pretty sure I remember what it is. After the junior Mr. Britain, I put on like 21 pounds in like a day and a half.
Oh,
I was just laying on the sofa.
What the fuck was you eating, bro?
Boxes of Weetabix with like sugar on. I ate like a full box of Weetabix just as soon as I got off stage.
Yeah, I've done.
None of us here have reverse diet, have we? I see.
No.
I'm adding in 50 grams of rice. No, you're not.
No, I can't do that.
You're talking like 90% of not doing that shit.
I'm just not that guy. That's like that whole like progressing things to the book, and like that. We're even with weight training itself. It's just not me.
I usually can't get weight up after a show anyway.
Why do you think that is?
I think I'm just so fucked by the time that I get there.
The body's just like
yeah. So I think that the only thing that can save me is I need to actually take a few days off.
Yeah.
And chill out. But you get a lot of people. I definitely have seen people, and I have done it myself earlier, when I could out eat my entire prep in like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to be so bad for it, dude. I'd be like the first person to say to my friends, find us like a really good spot to eat today. Tomorrow we're gonna go somewhere else. Wednesday, let's go. So like I would book myself up for an entire like period of time about going out for dinners with friends obsessively. I don't. And again, I think because of the amount of food that I have to eat now anyway, I don't feel like that at all. I'm like, it would make me actually feel like so super shit. And I felt like shit so many times. All of us probably have. I felt like that big fat heifer lump on the bed, sweating and pissing myself. I can't even breathe. So many fucking times that I'm like, I don't want to go back there again because I've done it. I've done it to the point where I'm like, I'm sick of food. I don't want to eat again. And then you let it dies down. You do it again. Oh, stomach stretched
Yeah.
again. It's just like, yeah, you just keep doing it, and it's just like, fuck, man, I can't be doing this no more.
I think it just lasts a certain amount of time. Like you can't out eat it. You need to just wait it out. It doesn't really matter whether you eat it or you don't eat it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I choose not to try not to eat it because then I don't get all the issues that come along with the overeating.
Exactly.
Because the overeating is rough, mate. You know, when you can't do your shoelaces and shit, it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah. And if you've already returned to your fattest 3 weeks after, and then you're like, oh, it's push time, and you're like, well, my
And
guts.
you can't push because you're fucked. Like
Yeah.
you're already fat.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, I've accumulated a little bit of fat, but that's mostly down to high calorie and coming off the majority of anabolics that are there to fucking assist you in fat loss. What do you expect, you know? But you can do it in a way that's not stupid.
Yeah. And if you're a bit smaller, then obviously eating a bunch of wheels of cheese and that is going to have a bigger impact of your calories.
For sure.
Don't need to be high enough.
Yeah.
Have you ever done them once to rebound layer after show and just eat everything in sight?
Yeah, Leroy, what did you do after a show? Was it the rebound and you just eat entire camels?
I remember, I think it's the last show. For some reason, I had a massive crave for sugar puffs. Remember the
Yeah, I know
sugar
this.
puffs?
I've had them quite lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happened as soon as I come off stage, I sat there with a big box of sugar puffs, and I ate the fucking lot. Then we went to a restaurant after the show, and I passed the chicken, you name it, and then went to. Do you know because your belly's shrunk and your belly's that fat, it feels like you're gonna explode.
Yeah.
But you still save that bit of room for pudding.
Oh, pudding
You
all
have
the
to
time.
have
Bit of
a
ice
sweet.
cream or something.
Oh, yeah, you have to have your apple pie and whatever.
Yeah.
Then got home and then woke up again a couple hours later, and I remember Mandy coming downstairs and I was frying steak. What are you doing? You're just that. I had nowhere to put this steak, but I just wanted it.
Yeah. It's the eyes are bigger than the belly. It's that whole happens every time. Like, well, it doesn't happen every time now. I'm kind of like I say, good, you get used to it, but it's happened a lot of times for most of us, I assume.
Yeah, we used to blow up. So as soon as we come off stage, a few days later, you wouldn't recognise us.
Yeah.
We were walking water babies. We were.
Yeah.
Well, now you can buy now they sell like the cookies, don't they? Where you can do 9 cheat meals as soon as you leave stage.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Mate, I remember like my wife bought me one and I managed about a quarter of it. And I felt like throwing up everywhere. I was just like, you've seen those things, they do like the special baker or cheat meal Sundays or whatever they're called, and they're like fucking bricks.
Yeah, the blondies and all that.
All that's, oh mate, it's
dense, so dense and so rich.
Much.
Yeah, I'm
sorry, now we're talking about food and diets and stuff. Is Dan going to let us share
an update
picture of his off season? You know, do you get hammered with us? Obviously, everybody's asking what your plans are next, James, because that's the big thing.
I ain't got fucking any plans.
I'm sure you've got hammered with that one on DM and stuff and all that kind of thing.
You know,
leave the man alone. Just let him have a rest, man. It's like only a couple of weeks since the show.
I ain't really got a plan because I just want to be better. So I'll do whatever that means. Take time, recover, relax, go again. I don't feel like going again off this run because I do feel like we've discussed that. I feel like I lost a bit of tissue on this prep, and there's just no point turning up with any less than what I need, and I don't actually have enough anyway for what I need. So why turn up when you're not going to be a force? I want to be a force, you know. So whether that's possible or not in time to come, I don't know, but I'd rather try.
Well, if there's one person that's going to find out, it's going to be fucking you, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm willing to do the work, and I want to do the work because I love bodybuilding.
Do you think it was just too long? I mean, it's not really something I've identified. I thought that because we haven't seen you since the 2 shows, and they were very different, and the last one was definitely like
the problem with the Detroit is that I didn't have enough muscle to not come in super full, whereas you kind of want to come in realistically, you need a little bit too much muscle because you need to be able to sacrifice a little bit on the prep that you can come in and have that super dry look and still have enough muscle to stand there. And I had to, with like Detroit, I knew my only option really was just to be as full as I fucking can to present the maximum muscularity I could present. I would have liked to have been that, but like drier as well. But it's such a fine line because ultimately I was only that full because I was super compensated. And if I had any like water in me, perhaps it could have maybe actually made me look worse because I haven't got my full size that I had. So it's a tough one. And again, it may sound like gibberish to some people, but I know in my own body when things are full and they're not. And no matter how much I fed it, it wasn't going to be as full as it has been. So it was the best of what was available. It's like I've got a smaller bottle of milk than I had 3 weeks ago. You know, like I can't fit the amount of milk I had in that, but I can still fill it to the brim. So it still looks good on the fucking shelf. It's still a full bowl. But in the grand scheme, if that full bottle's on the shelf next to another big bottle, you're going to be like, that bottle's bigger. That's my analogy. I don't know if that worked or not, but yeah, that's kind of how I felt. So there was nothing really wrong with any of the preps, but it's a combination of multiple things, isn't it? Like, how did you get to where you got to? What steps did you take? And if something's not quite right for you and you do it for a prolonged period of time, the end result, unfortunately, will not be your best. And that was all it was. There's no like wrongdoing on anyone's behalf. The way I prep for these shows is the way the majority of people would prep for a show, but we're all individual, and this way of prepping for me wasn't ideal. Just wasn't.
And you're quite similar, aren't you? Because you kind of like steadily drop, and then at 6 weeks out, everything just seems to like ramp the shit up. And again, we spoke about this. Isn't like not as in anxiety when I say nervous energy, but like like is it like a bit of nervous energy or a bit of what I mean? Because you're not doing anything massively different.
No, I think it is
like
a
all
lot
of a
of
sudden
that.
just eating nothing or just like switching certain things out to like you get what I'm saying, don't you? It's not like a massive drastic swing of the pendulum. Just something happens at about 5-6 weeks out where Dan's exactly the same, and he just starts dropping weight. He can bump his food up, he drops weight again.
Yeah, and then it's like just not sustainable when you get to that point. That's why people be like, "Oh, do like 4 shows, 5 shows." Yeah, but do you know how fucking difficult it is in between shows having to do like stupid refeeds every 5 days, and realistically, how long is your body going to even put up with doing that? Like this, people just don't consider that. Like they're like, "Yeah, but you're lean already." Yeah, but I'm lean, and I have to eat like a fucking idiot, it doesn't feel comfortable. It's actually not a nice thing to do. And then if I don't eat like that, I'm actually just going to disappear. So it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, I can bring myself in looking pretty good, but I just the consequence of having to eat these shit meals that make me feel shit because I couldn't, no matter how much clean food I was eating, it just wasn't stabilizing when I was on everything we were doing for that prep.
Because people don't understand what it's like to be 260, 270, 280 lean. Like I was only 210 when I used to compete, and my carb days were like 1200s and stuff. So I can't imagine what it takes to
Well,
feed
that's the
you
thing.
up and try and
I can never get in. I could do a 1200 day and it just feels stressful in my stomach. Or I can eat a cheap meal or two, which is so much more calorie dense, but the size of it is smaller. And I could go to bed and my stomach feels so much better. And the next day, I personally think that I'm better for it than having stressed my stomach out eating fucking 1500 grams of carbs. Because it just doesn't stick either. Like I think the combination of not even healthy fats. I feel like healthy fats don't stick. Like when you're at that point, you can have all the fucking fat you like coming from all these nice, sources like eggs and fucking almond bar and that. Some people it just doesn't stick with. You need some stodge. And again, I'm not condoning it because I think in the long run that shit's bad for you. That's why I don't like doing loads of shows because if you're constantly having to eat like that, you've got to think about what's doing to cholesterol and shit. It's just unfortunate that sometimes the body gets to that point where the only thing is going to stop it from actually disappearing is that. And again, a lot of people disagree and they go, "Oh, if you program your diet right and blah blah, you'd never have to do that." Yeah, maybe so, but I didn't control my prep. I was all ears.
sounds easy on paper.
Everything sounds fucking easy on paper, man. But then I do have friends that get ready for shows, and I do think the more muscle you have, the higher the difficulty to get things correct. Because when I was a smaller person, had less muscle, my room for error was a lot smaller, and I never like really presented anything that was that bad because there was just no space to do so. I didn't have anything that could have changed that much. I wasn't carrying the amount of muscle where it could be drastically flat. you know.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it presented anything bad, James. It's just not.
No, but
what
like
you need to
the
achieve type of thing.
yeah,
need to,
like
yeah,
you can be. It's
knock
actually
it
like
out.
yeah, when you're like smaller, it's weird. Like your worst is going to be 90%, but when you're like a bigger guy, your worst could be 70%, and that's really fucking damaging when you step on stage and people are trying to judge you.
Well, the fullness aspect of a muscle that's massive
Yeah.
is like, you know, first or seventh. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
whereas like if you're smaller, like the difference between flat and full is like maybe just coming ripped. It's
The
like,
thing, the thing with the pro league, if you just come in ripped, they don't even look at you twice because your silhouette isn't big enough.
yeah,
And as much as like the amateur scene's quite different. Like when I was an amateur, really my emphasis was more so on condition, if possible, and it used to pay off a lot more. That's how I won the British. Like when I was against Samson, my condition was just way superior, so therefore I beat him.
Mm.
But in a pro league, when someone's got the silhouette of a titan, big guy, they get the nod a lot. So it's a real tough one.
Do you
'Cause
think that's
can't-
right?
Huh?
Do you think that's the right way? I mean, it kind of ties into what you're saying. There's a middle
I
ground.
don't know because I look at some of these guys who are big and I think if they were in true condition, would they be as big as they look?
Mm.
Is it because they're not fully in shape yet that they're that big?
Well, it's definitely part of it.
Like for example, I know that like Dorian has said so many times that he could have competed in his shape from 4 to 6 weeks out potentially, but he wanted to just take it there, and I think no one takes it there really now. So everyone stopped at that 6 week out mark and call it a day, and that's become the standard.
Mm.
And then if you do come in razor, but you're a little bit smaller for it, they look at you like you're too small and they don't give you a place in anyway. So then what's a man to do? You have to have more muscle.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, fuck, I've got to have more muscle so that I can get into the shape I like to get in, but still have enough size to stand next to people. And that's where that's where it's a conundrum.
I mean, that's where Dorian had it, is that he'd rather come in flat, and he could because he was setting new standards.
Because he had so much muscle.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No one had seen anything that big, even when it was slightly flat.
But that's why I think with bodybuilding, a lot of the time when people are like, well, what do I need to improve? What do I need to improve? I personally think more often than not, if you're in a situation like mine, truth is you still need more muscle. Because more
It's
muscle,
usually the
more clay you have to play with, the more you can bring it down, get as sharp as fucking nails, and still be big enough to stand next to people, but be so much more impressive in condition than they are. So that's where my head's at. That's what my goal's like. Jay, you were 280 the night before the Detroit show, and you're probably like 275, 274 on stage after pulling your fluids. You need to be on stage at fucking 280 if you're going to win these shows. Because Bonac and people like that are shorter guys that don't weigh as much, they would weigh that if they were your height. Like Bonac would be fucking 300 pounds probably close enough if he was 5'11" with the amount of muscle that he has on his frame.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like the answer normally is bodybuilding. You do need more muscle, and I know I do. And a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need more muscle, Jay. But it's just because they're comparing me to maybe them or comparing me to I don't know, just an average person. It's like no, but this is fucking bodybuilding at the highest level where there's a Mr. Olympia title at stake.
Yeah.
So
And it's very rare you see someone where you're like,
well,
how much? Like, that's too much.
look at Rody Winkler, for example. Imagine if all of us had that kind of level of muscularity. Because it's possible for many people. It's just how the fuck do you get there? I'm not saying it's possible for me, but if you want to beat guys like that, you've got to have that much fucking muscle. Which is probably never ever going to happen at this age, but you can always try to have a bit more muscle. And even if I came back at a show and I was like 6 pounds up, I would still rather that and be happy with that because it's still towards the direction I think I had to go.
6 pounds, serious.
Yeah, lean 6 pounds. Fuck,
Yeah.
man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So sorry, yeah, I'm blabbering on because I just chatted to you guys about.
No, that's why we like you on, James, because you
That's
we like your
great.
blabber.
Mm.
What do you think you're going to land at, Dan? So you're 280 something now? Because
I
you
was-
lost 20 pounds. Sorry, I wasn't saying
Well,
it's a good 288.
before they fucked my bloods up and I've had to not train, I was like 287. I don't know. I reckon there's probably 27 pound to come off.
Yeah, I was just going to say about 260 or something like that.
Solid.
Something like that. If I'm in good nick. If I'm not, burn me alive.
I still remember how impressed I was with the 2018 Max Muscle.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that
Yeah,
was
it was
good.
definitely softer, but it was a
Do you think you were soft off when you were like granite there, bro?
Well, not compared with the
Do you know what
Brit.
made the difference as well, Dan? It's because you're allowed to use Dream Tan. You're like me, like the stains
It
look
does
shit.
help.
Oh, mate, none
You
of
get a
us can
good
use
tan.
small. Yeah, fuck, man.
It's it just makes a difference. It's just if,
It
if
totally
you're in shape.
The white guys get fucked with that tan. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like any vein you had, or any fucking some of the finer details, just get like lipstick over the top of it, and it just fucks it.
100%.
Hate that shit. If I ever had a bodybuilding show, no fuckers allowed to tan. None of them.
Oh, imagine.
White.
You all just come on stage, whatever natural color you are.
That would be, we should do that.
You can be brown, you can be yellow. I don't give a fuck. White, and then just stand as you are. And I don't even think I need fucking glaze. Fuck that as well.
I think if you had no tan, glaze would definitely be worse.
Yeah, it'd be a bit odd. So I just think just get everyone up there fucking looking in their most natural state and pose, and then I'll fucking judge you.
There you go, the new category for the ultra flex.
I honestly thought about having an off-season class. This is for a bit of fun.
Just massive geezers.
That would be wicked.
Right, there was one question. You got James on your thing. I remember that. I'm looking at my phone down below. What was it? Best lifts. Is that like 1 rep stuff?
Yeah, people wanted to know
I've
what
never
your
done
best
1 rep ever on anything ever.
People wanted to know what everyone's lifts were, like squat, dead, and bench. You know the whole. Did you ever do a heavy squat? Did you ever do a heavy bench and a heavy deadlift? Like I don't know what Leroy was doing back in the day. If there was ever a period where he kind of went down that route, or if it was all.
Were you a squatter, Leroy?
Say again.
Were you a squatter back in the day?
We squatted, yeah. We Smith machine though.
Yeah.
Smith machine squatting.
Fucking
Do
awesome.
you know what? Over the years, if I had 10 pence for every time someone asked me, "Oh, what do you bench? What do you squat?" I ain't got a clue. I just remember the plates that were going on. You know, 5 plates. 5 plates. Was that me? 4 plates. What does that mean? 4 plates. That's how much I wasn't doing 1. I was doing fucking reps. You know what I mean? I've never ever gone for 1 rep. Never fancied it. Never been interested in it.
You ever done a single, James?
Oh mate, I was doing singles every session because I didn't come from a bodybuilding because I wasn't bodybuilding originally.
Yeah.
I was just training and I was just trying to get strong. So 1 rep max bench press was like every Thursday without fail.
What's the heaviest bench, squat, and deadlift for James? Come on, give us some crazy numbers because
I think it's about I think about 260 on the bench.
Oh, you got to speak. You got to speak in Leroy terms now.
So 6 plates. It was like
that's
rough one, but because I used to do 5 plates for. I think the best I did with 5 was 10 reps, and that was when I was like quite fat, and then that was with some assistance. Squat sets of 10 with 300, 7 plates.
Yeah, I've seen that shit.
I did heavier, but like doubles and triples and shit like that with like fucking 8.5 plates or whatever it was. But yeah, I always like doing sets. I'm like Leroy. I used to like doing a set, and then deadlift. I did like I've done 800 pounds, but I did a set with 7.5 plates for 8 about 2 weeks out from a show when I was just on the fucking Hannah testing, going a bit crazy. That was with Patrick Tor. So I remember I was like, I don't know how I pulled out. I was literally like 2 to 3 weeks out from it. Must have been the Europa, and I literally had 7.5 plates on the bar, and I pulled it for like 8. I don't know how the fuck I did that.
It's like 320.
Right? Yeah, for 8, it's fucking anyway, yeah. So it's quite a lot for like for 2 weeks out.
Mate, that's a lot for fucking any.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't do that now. I don't think I could even pull 300 now because I just don't do that. I just don't.
Yeah. You used to use Haller testing back in the day, Leroy. You remember Haller testing for oxymetro?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I don't know if it's around, was it?
That's how I don't.
Yeah, it was
probably just coming into the system, but no, we never messed about.
I think you got like Upjohn Haller testing back in the 90s.
Upjohn, I remember Upjohn
with a parabolon, isn't it?
Parabolon, yeah.
Upjohn was actually good. I remember
Upjohn Hallow and Upjohn test sit, wasn't it?
Oh man, good stuff. Good.
Danny, you got any questions, mate? Because I honestly, I put on my story again today. Like, how can you post like 1,000+ likes and I just?
It's weird that people just they just go. I know.
Please put it on that, not in the DM, because then I have to go in my phone.
This is the thing that gets me about the questions is that like you put a post on and like 100 people cunt you off, but they don't want to actually ask a question. Like they want to interact, they just want to cunt everyone off. It's fucking bad.
I feel like a lot of it is that people don't think that people that have been around for ages have the answers to new generation. But the whole point is that the new generation needs to listen because there's not as many answers as you think. The fact of the matter is, this is way simpler than you assume. So why don't you just get some clarity and asking questions and get some actual clarity from people like Anth and yourself and Leroy, rather than get told 10 paragraphs of nonsense and being sold the idea that you have to take every single peptide on planet Earth to prep for a show, L-carnitine, fucking mod GRF, whatever they are, fucking like every peptide, because that's literally what bodybuilding is now. It's not simple anymore. So
No,
I'd rather,
they tried the scientific, but
yeah.
everything's gone scientific. It's not fucking broken. So there's that many people trying to fix it, trying to fix something that isn't broken.
Right.
They're trying to make things fucking so complicated, and it's so easy. Well, it's so basic. Bodybuilding is so you can build good, freaky mass muscle by just using basic movements. You don't need all these fucking scientific movements, scientific bullshit that everyone's trying to come up with. They're trying to elaborate and fucking make it so fluffy. It's sickening sometimes when you sit in the gym and look around. It's sickening.
Well, I think people just get misconstrued as well. They're failing to understand that a lot of what they're seeing is a ploy from a coach or a coaching service to sell a product.
Yeah.
So they're highlighting the importance of training a certain way. It's not for your benefit. It's because it's a way for them to draw you in a tactile method, so that you go, oh, this guy knows some new shit. He's the best person to hire, or she's the best person to hire. It's nothing more than that. It's like making a big jazzy fucking billboard and putting it up in America on the fucking Route 66 for all the drivers to see. It's not actually real purpose behind it a lot of the time. It's just a selling point. And the problem with us guys, because we're kind of what you consider old school, we don't try to like make things sexy. We're not trying to make we're actually the opposite. We're like, man, it's just like meat and potatoes, which just doesn't allure enough people, unfortunately, because a lot of people ain't about the meat and potatoes. They're more about the shiny gold bollocks and they're being known by a lot of people because they have a good physique. So like it's an ego driven endeavor, even though bodybuilding kind of has ego. Bodybuilding competitions of a time when we used to do them were quite small and didn't really get much attention. That it's not really for ego, it's more for challenge. Whereas now, like, you get plastered all over social media if you win a little show and everyone's like, new prospect, blah blah blah, this guy, keep an eye out. And you've got like 10 different fucking channels on Instagram putting pictures of the person up everywhere, and they love it, and rightly so, because they're getting popular. But it's changed the orientation of what this is all about. You know, Mr. Olympia back in the day, Dorian never wanted to be the most famous person. He wanted to be the best bodybuilder on the planet. Whereas a lot of people now are like, oh, Chris Bumstead's so famous. He's got the most following out of any bodybuilder ever on Instagram. What can I do to be like him? So it's just a change of dynamic. And again, I'm not saying they're wrong or right. I'm just saying that if you're from this generation, you're never going to understand me. And if I'm never probably going to understand you. And that's fine. It doesn't mean we have to be fucking enemies. It just means we don't understand each other.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Yeah,
music.
I like that. I like that angle, James. I like that one.
It's like music. Like music's an era of your past. You have your things. You still listen to the same music as you were when you're a kid, and you hear the new music now, and you're like, "That's wank." And your parents did the same, and the
And
parents
so on
did-
and so on and so on and so on.
like it doesn't mean that actually like that hasn't captured where they're from, and they don't identify it in the same way. You're never fully gonna get it. But Leroy's point is so prominent, so basic, and I've never actually framed it. It's not broken. I think using fancy techniques and having all this knowledge is a great tool when issues arise. But there weren't really any issues.
It's like
No, you're right. We kept it simple, and that's not because we're simple people. It's because simple worked. It just worked.
And simplicity is building blocks you can build upon.
Yeah.
If you throw too many fucking blocks, then how do you get any foundation? How do you build upon that when you're spread so thin?
Yeah.
You know, if
I'm
you've
not
got
saying like if you did all the basics and you were like, oh, this muscle group's way behind, then maybe you can think about more
frequency,
complicated
more
ways to get
complicated,
there.
yeah.
Like, but ultimately, if you're starting with complicated, you might find that the answer is to just do the basics.
Yeah.
Do that first.
Build like Jay, you got to build the foundation first. You got to build some muscle to add muscle onto it. Everyone's overthinking, or they're being taught to overthink it. Let's make an exercise. Let's take 15 minutes, set a bench up, put cables and straps and whatever else, fucking pulleys, just to do an exercise that does absolutely nothing. But they do it, and
or there's a super simple alternative that already exists, like a
get on a fucking machine.
There's actually a life. There's a Life Fitness pet deck there, which is basically the same as you cuffing yourself into a functional trainer and laying on the floor and doing all this weird shit.
Well, here's the thing. Say I gave Hollingshead the most up-to-date strength curve profiled thing, and I gave it to him. James, you would grow because you have the one thing that actually makes you grow, which is fucking grit. So ultimately, any methodology you tapped in, because you've got some fucking balls,
as long as you got grit,
would work. So some of it does work, but Anth, we were saying the other day, back in the day, loads of people shit form, stuck to the basic, but loads of them are accidentally
still built really good physiques,
accidentally massive. But now we've got gyms full of people that know everything, but they haven't got any fucking gains.
Yeah, I was talking about the podcast that Ron and Dusty did with Scott. Sorry, they have a few podcasts. I think it was the big one. And they're basically what they're saying. Like, we are seeing a little bit of a turn in the tide, but those guys were saying the same thing. Like, years ago, people were huge. We didn't have all this crazy knowledge, and it was a very interesting one. I'm actually going to share it on my page. They typed it into Chat.GPT, like, what is the current bodybuilding trends that are popular and that are going to fizzle out? Can't remember exactly what it says. I'll send you. It's quite interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's true and like whether Ron's just made it up. I'm actually going to put it into ChatGPT, but it was just saying basically all of this fancy stuff's very popular now. But basically saying that it's like it's true results come from like effort and grit and kind of that's the thing that's the component that's missing now. It's we've got all this fancy techniques and all that stuff, and they were saying again about the cuffs and stuff, like nobody has any big forearms anymore. It's weird. You don't see any gnarly big forearms anymore. Because everybody's just like not holding anything or picking fucking dumbbells up. It's weird, isn't it?
They break nails, don't they?
Yeah, when was the last time you were in the gym and you thought, shit, like fucking, I don't see any forearms anymore. It's weird. Like,
someone mentioned that the other day, actually. I think it was Nick Bostock. He was like, man, I think people need to fucking start training their forearms because no one's got any these days. And I get it. Like, prioritize. Like, we used to do wrist curls and all that shit when we were training at Pink's gym. We used to do everything, like little forearm movements all the time.
Oh
yeah, they were even saying you got people like training forms, but like
at least grip stuff.
Just pick some shit up, man.
The thing is with the training, you can have grit and shit form and you'll grow. Yeah, you can have perfect form with grit and still grow.
Take away grit.
You're getting fucking nowhere. It doesn't matter what you do. There's loads of different ways to do it. I know people that train muscle groups twice a week because they split the volume. I know people that lose, but you can't be a pussy.
Basically, the one component that is necessary to make that milkshake is the ice cream, and that's that's the grit.
And you can't learn that. There's no science around your brain being able to fucking lock into that. It doesn't fucking exist.
You either got it or won't. And that's the thing. I think I think when you're driven to be a champion and you want to be the best, that will probably generate more grit than just wanting to be popular.
Yeah.
So
it has to be worth more. It has to be worth more.
Yeah.
That's so fucking right. And we've had loads of people on there, and most people started training not because they wanted to be on I don't think that's enough to be on a magazine or like to. It has to be something inside. It's not enough to just want to look a certain way. It's not enough.
It's more to build you're trying to build a shell upon something, a protection upon something that's like we've always spoken about this Anth and whatnot, but upon the past, like you're trying to build some sort of you're adding to your defense so that you feel strong because you want to feel like
we're all a bit weird. If you do it for like if you're not from
that's weightlifting in general. Yeah,
doing it for attention, you kind of if you're pushing yourself to that level, there is kind of something else going on there. I think we all kind of know that a little bit. But again, we're not slagging everything off, and I know we bang on about the same shit.
No.
This is kind of what the channel's about. So that was a question I got. If you want to answer quickly, guys, before we shoot, because I don't want to keep it too long. Is HIT training too intense for beginners?
Yeah, definitely.
You think?
Yeah,
it's the low volume training to failure stuff, Leroy.
Yeah, look, because of where you got to take it. If you're going to do HIT, you got to do properly. You've got to do it properly. You've got to take it to failure and beyond. And I think that's gonna put a lot of beginners off because of the fucking pain. When they wake up the following day, they're gonna feel hurt. The day after that, they're gonna feel fucking pain, and they're not gonna like that. They're not gonna come back from that. It's gonna scare them away. Yeah. So they need, like Jane said earlier, they need to build a foundation of resilience first to pain, especially deep muscle pain. You're gonna split that fucking muscle, ain't you? Yeah. You know, you're gonna wound it. You're gonna tear it apart for it to rebuild, and that's not the young or the beginner's cup of tea. It isn't.
Funny you mentioned that, Leo, because I remember this was years ago. Somebody I was started doing some PT, and they were a very hard trainer. And this isn't like to sell people short, but if you've got a beginner coming in and they're doing their first PT session, you do not want to kind of destroy them because they're not going to like it. They're not used to it.
They're not going to come back on.
And then nobody was coming back. Like, can't retain any PT clients. I was like, yeah, because you're like destroying them.
You're breaking them.
You've got to like get them accustomed to like. Not everybody wants the legs to be sore for like 5 days. I thought it was great, but not everybody's like that, unfortunately.
That's why I don't.
That's commando roll off the toilet.
Yeah, that's why I don't. I don't train when they ask. I tell them to go away. I mean, they might think I'm a twat for doing it, but you try and explain. Say, listen, I'm not going to change my type of training, but I say to them, look, my type of training at the moment you're not ready for. And the lucky is I've just killed the fucking name. Hey, what do you mean? I say, you're not ready for it, mate. You really are not. Go away, come back in 12 months' time. And they're getting salty with that. So, it's just it's the way it is, unfortunately. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be a big freaking monster to train heavy and hard and hurt the body. Mr. Average could train. It's just having that grit and the mental attitude to take yourself to that point and enjoy it.
Yeah,
enjoy the aftermath.
Yeah,
I don't think beginners, even if they thought they were doing it,
you can't get it. They wouldn't be able to go there. Yeah, they don't know what that is, do they?
Yeah, so I think more volume for beginners is better because you get more opportunities to practice the moves and touch it. I think that the insanity, unless you've got something really badly wrong with you, which like some people do, if you're doing murder prevention and that's why you're in the gym, like, yeah, maybe you've got it, like, but you build that shit and you train, like Arnie said, you train the mind.
Yeah, my nephew Leo, he's doing great. Well done, Leo. He's like a teenager, and my brother Mark was like, yeah, like, Leo's been training like 5-6 days a week. That's too much. I said, not really, because he could probably kill himself every day in the gym. He's not really at that level where it's too much type of thing.
Yeah.
He hasn't harnessed that, like, really digging the fucking hole nice and deep type of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely as you get. It
comes with a bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's being able to connect with what you're doing better, and that takes time and effort. And again, that's kind of like an ability, and abilities have to be nurtured. It's not just there, is it? So, if you are someone who trains, number one, like if they have a good connection with that body part, normally it's an impressive body part. A noob normally doesn't have any really connection with anything, so they've kind of just got to fill things out. And then obviously being able to take something all the way to that point of failure, it's a lot easier for someone who has that established connection with those body parts, because everything's just so more accurate that getting one extreme set out of an exercise is not that difficult to do, because you've kind of developed that amount of ability so far to do that. Whereas, like say, a noob person, they're just not really that connected. They're not going to know really what the feeling is they're trying to chase, because it's all new to them. So the best thing they can do, like Dan said, is probably like a little bit of volume just to acclimate to the movements themselves and learn them, and then become familiar. And then in time, they'll find that 3 sets becomes 2 and 2 sets becomes 1, because they're able to lock it in from the first fucking rep.
Do you remember like the first time picking up a set of dumbbells and trying to lift them independently?
Dude, I remember mine was like opposite. I'd just go for hours. Like I wasn't lifting heavy enough, and I'd just be able to go all day, and I never got any feeling in anything. It was just like aerobics for me. I didn't get any like stimulus. So I was like, I'm not connecting right, and it took me a long time to kind of learn what and how,
I used to bench press in the bedroom until I got a pump. Like you got a pump, but then when it obviously goes away, then I'll just go back again and like try and get it again, like the same day, like just a treat trying.
Yeah.
Multiple chest pumps in a day.
Yeah.
All day. It's like,
Yeah, I used to do a lot of. That was what I used to just do press ups all through school. That was it. Press up, press up, press up. And I noticed guys that did that as a young age normally have pretty good chests. So if you didn't
yeah,
press up,
generally, if you like missed legs out, like you can't catch up. Have you found
Yeah.
that? Like, or if you trained arms all the time, you
Mm.
generally did have big arms later in your career, or if you trained
Yeah,
back like really
yeah.
well. If you missed something out, kind of didn't catch up.
yeah. Well, I suppose
Strange.
like anything, isn't it? You've kind of fed something and starved something else to a degree,
Yeah.
but also developed that connection as well that we're talking about. Because all those all those attempts of lifting a certain way when you were younger have honed in your skills of being able to connect with that body part. So press ups and stuff, God, mate, you can you can do any chest exercise now and get a really good connection because you know what your chest should feel like.
I've heard some people say that like training isn't a skill, but they obviously must be so old they don't remember the first time they even tried to balance a bench press. Like,
Well, this was an argument on Fuad's podcast that we were having as well. It was the argument of is it a skill because it kept getting brought up, and Fuad was almost saying it's not a skill because he was comparing it to like gymnastics, but there's different types of skill.
yeah, of course.
Different types of skill, man. Like picking up a gun and shooting a clay pigeon, may not look like it's as skillful as someone that can do a triple backflip on a fucking beam, but it is. It's just different.
It still needs work.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's just different. You know, there's
yeah.
Sorry, Dan looks like he's looking at his screen there for some questions or something.
Oh no, I'm not actually. I was pondering. I liked it.
Pondering. Pondering is always good.
I was
Yeah, I think anything that you kind of can progress on and get better at is a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but you're right. There's levels of skill. You know, you can't like, Slash was a guitar player. Skill. It's not really comparable, but
Mhm.
but it's still something that needed to work. I remember trying to do a shoulder press with dumbbells, and I was flailing all over the place, drop it on my fucking knee,
Yeah.
and like, it wasn't something that was just like maybe some people do just pick up 2 dumbbells and they're like, well, massive, but that wasn't me.
No, same.
Mm.
So I was just looking at because we had a pro qualifier this week. I don't know if you guys kept up to date with it, but
Yeah.
Alan Joe.
Oh yeah, sorry, I meant to mention. Say that's congrats to Joe.
Joe's-
He's been knocking on the door for a
Mate,
long
he
time.
slipped in there. He got like you got to think like so. A few weeks before he came last or third,
Yeah.
or fourth or something. I don't know where it was in the
It
same.
was the same lineup basically.
Yeah, and then he just went away. Got a little bit more conditioned. And he looks good. I'm looking at him right now. It's a good Joe.
I mean, if that's one thing Joe can do, it's get inside out.
He gets very good condition,
He
especially
gets
that
in really good shape.
side leg.
Yeah, I think like he fucked himself thinking he was classic for a minute. I thought
Yeah, he held himself back there, didn't he? He's a
personally,
he's a big guy.
I thought that was just not right structurally for him. I didn't see that paying off.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he returned and
Well,
got
mate,
good.
it's life. That's a lifetime goal for so many people that once they've done that, they're fucking happy as Larry, and I'm sure he's very happy. But I know he's actually jumping into Pittsburgh.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like, fuck
Really?
it, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause he's like, I just like to stand next to these people. So,
Wicked.
now fair play to him. Listen, how often you get to stand next to two Mr. Olympias?
Yeah.
Fuck it, get a picture with him. Hey, I stood next to him. It's kind of like when like Steve Crichton and those guys all competed against Ronnie that year. And you've got those pictures
Yeah.
of them all on the same stage at the Pro-Am, whatever it was. And
The Grand Prix or something.
yeah, like how often are you going to get shots like that, man? So it's a tale for the ages. But yeah, so that happened this week.
I was just
Yeah.
happy to get on the plaque, James. You know the plaque.
Oh, mate, absolutely. You sorted I got the plaque over there. See that?
Oh, did you take that with you? Yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. I didn't leave nothing in that gym.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask.
My Dorian pictures are in the garage. My everything.
Did you get the Temple Gym plate as well?
Yeah, it's all in my house.
Oh,
It's all
that's
here.
cool, man. Oh.
Temple gym plates down there. I'm not leaving anything behind, bro. Anything that has even a whiff of me was coming with me. I'm not letting anyone get any success off the back of me.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking that the other day. Because anyway, we won't go into that, but I was just wondering if you got the plaque and the Temple Gym plate because
Yeah,
there's
man.
not many people I'll give a Temple Gym plate to.
No. I appreciate that. That's why I'm holding on to it so dearly.
I would like to give Leroy one, but I know for a fact he's not allowed to put it on the living room wall because man, he'll just chuck it in the
Fuck off! I don't want to see that
What's
shit.
just chuck it in the bin.
So the thing is, now I've still got to find a home for all this stuff now. So Who knows what the future holds? I don't know. I'm kind of.
Yeah, I can see you having another gym at some point, James. Even though the gym game's hard as shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can see a Holland's Head set up at some point.
I contemplate it, and then I'm like, oh. Do you know what I did contemplate the other day? Which is just because you called me Holland's Head there. It's again, this is nothing to do with anything. But my mother's surname is Langdon. And I was thinking to myself the other day, like, I got my dad's surname, yeah. My dad has never done anything for me in my life, ever. He's not around. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm using that name and making it more than what it deserves. And a part of me was like, I should just change my name to Langdon because it's my mum's name and her name deserves it. But that was just like a bypassing, you get these passing thoughts. And I was like,
Yeah,
James
what
Langdon.
would your nickname? What would your nickname be though? Because obviously you got the Shed, Langy.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not very hardcore, is it?
Langdon, I don't know. It's the name of the doctor from Da Vinci Code.
Could you not just hyphenate it, James, and put it as your middle name?
James Langdon. I don't know.
You'd have to be a surgeon if that was your name, James.
Dr. Langdon.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm done with bodybuilding, I want to be obscure and hide away into the darkness, be left alone in the woods. Change it to Langdon.
Actually, yours is James Graham Hollingshead, isn't it? Yours,
Yeah.
Dan, what's yours?
Andrew.
Is it? Oh, yeah, Dan Andrew. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Mine's my dad's.
I know you have, haven't you? You've always got a middle name.
Oh, there you go.
I know you have because I've asked you before. Shit. Give me the first letter.
P.
It's as simple as Peter.
Nah, it's not because I remember I was thinking that doesn't like. Come on, Ray, let's have it. Are we allowed
Patricia.
Patricia.
Penelope. Well, actually, your name's Leroy, isn't it?
Yeah. Wait, no,
Yeah,
no. It's supposed to be pronounced that way because people think it's Jamaica or Caribbean. It originates from France, Leroy. So Leroy Paul. My middle name's Paul. Leroy Paul. Leroy Paul Davis is mine.
So I should be saying Leroy.
And do you know what Leroy means in French?
Massive knob.
Look it up.
Look it up. Okay.
Dan, ChatGPT that.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. Doing what I'm on it.
What does Leroy mean in French? Huge hammer.
I knew you had a middle name that I wouldn't have put for you, Leroy. Sorry. Now I was going to call you Leroy now. Leroy Pablo.
We are now. It's changed now.
Well, you guys so ChatGPT.
Yeah, Dan's got it.
Yeah, man.
So what is it then?
The King.
Hold on.
Oh, shit.
Hold on.
Get your crown out.
Get the crown's coming out now.
Press
the button.
If there's one man, I think.
There you go. Do you know what? I love the British flag. I saw one on a tractor today going down the road, and I was like, it's such a nice flag. Everyone should fucking have that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not even go into that bullshit that I've seen.
Don't fucking start me off.
You know what? It's not.
But
you know what? It's such a that flag is so non-offensive. If you've got a problem, I don't find any of them offensive. Right? We got fucking the English flag, but if you can't fucking tolerate that, at least let that fucking flag go up.
I mean,
that's a nice fucking flag. The Great Britain, the flag is lovely. Like I said, I saw it on this tractor today going down the road, and I was like, I wanted to give him a fucking thumbs up and say, I like being home. You know what I mean? Because it was just so British.
Should have given him a honk.
Dude, it was just the dude's a white dude in a tractor, clearly super British, with his fucking Great Britain flag flapping about in the air. And I was like, you know what? Like, that's just nice to see.
So much fucking history behind them colours of that flag.
Exactly.
Much history. And for any twat that is offended by being flown in our own country, please come and see me. Please.
Yeah. There you go. We've got there you go. That's how I feel as well. I just think I love every country when I'm in a country to see it for what it is, and it should be able to represent itself. So today, seeing that site, I was just like, this is just a great, very homely sensed feeling where I was. It was a sunny day. Like I said, I saw the fucking tractor with the flag, and I thought, that's the image of Britain for me. And that's what it should be. And there's nothing offensive about that. That's identity, guys.
Yeah.
And that should be celebrated. I expect when I get to Britain to come off the fucking plane, to be able to look at the grassy shores on the side and see some sheep and some fucking cows and the farmer doing his work. That's what I fucking think Britain is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but James, that might be offensive.
Oh, fuck them. Whoever's got offence to that then just doesn't know how to fucking listen to other people and understand that respect is due wherever you are. You know?
It's gotten to the point of stupidity now, hasn't it? Really?
Oh, it really has, man.
Leroy started on that one.
Yeah, like I say, I won't go too deep into it, but it was just nice to see, and I'm glad I saw that.
Yeah. So anyway, my name King. You
King.
may call me Your Highness.
Your Highness, bro.
Davis. I might have
Well, I'm
get
going to call you Leroy now.
Leroy. Do you know,
Leroy Pablo.
the only time I ever got called that really was when I was in junior school by my headmaster who knew Mr. Frankish, and I'll never forget his name. And he was the only ever person that ever called me Leroy. Everybody else called me Leroy.
So okay, and then what made you
the
stick
Caribbean type of Leroy.
Yeah.
What made you stick with Leroy? If it was meant to be Leroy, was it just like, you know what? Everyone
because it's Leroy in England, because
yeah, that's why I said okay.
Even in America, in the South, it's Leroy.
Okay.
But it actually originates from France. That's where our names originate from.
So it's only if you're in France then you'd be expected to
It'd be automatically Leroy, yeah. Leroy.
That's kind of
actually spelled L-E,
yeah,
R-O-Y, Leroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my old man, he came from St. Vincent, the Caribbean, which was obviously occupied by everyone the red coats knocked fuck out of, was sent over. So the French, Spanish, Irish, Scottish, well, anybody that the British Empire decided to knock fuck out of and sort out and educate, they sent them over to the Caribbean. That's where all the names come from. So over in the Caribbean, there's a lot of English names, Welsh names, Scottish names, French names.
I like how you said who we decided to educate.
Yeah, because we did. As an empire, we educate.
Like we're giving them some shit. We'll educate them. You've used that few lines in the gym before, haven't you, Leroy?
Yeah.
Educate them.
Kind of missing the one-liners, Leroy. It's been a while. You've been very quiet. It's,
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, probably another couple of weeks, and we'll know exactly where we are and what's going on. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, get back to myself then.
Yeah, we're like coming up with May. It's crazy. Like nearly the middle of the year. It's mental. Like,
it's fucked, isn't it? I'm just thinking I've got like 10 weeks till I've got a kid.
Yeah, I just listened to the other day, Jeff, and you're online. You've seen like 11 weeks. I was like, fuck, where did that
come
dude.
How's
Yannicka doing? Is she all right?
Good, mate.
She's handling the whole pregnancy thing okay?
Still mowing the lawn.
Still doing as well. She was still be doing the DIY.
Still doing the DIY. Nah, she's good. She's good. She's feeling it now though. She gets quite tired going up the old stairs, and she says the baby's like kicking quite a lot now. It's actually a little bit it interrupts her a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, she's doing good. I don't know what to expect. It's the first. I've never been through this before, so I should try and be a little bit more present and be nice. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I also thought it was a good time to kind of not do any more shows, because then I can be a bit more.
Yeah, you're in robot mode, aren't you? Honestly, I remember what it's like. It's like you don't know until you've been away from it for such a long time, but you're a bit like a cyborg, aren't you? As much as you think you're not at the time, you just like.
Sit down, then.
Oh, you're completely cyborg. Completely cyborg.
Really? Right.
Well, for the next one, should we get Sasan for like a
see if he's free, man.
British beef one?
Yeah, man. I'm always available if you want. Hey, look at the big chap.
That's a proper British dog guy.
That's probably.
Tell him.
Whoa. Look at the pause. What's her name?
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
What's her name?
Creedy.
Creedy. She's sweet.
She's Creed.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Yes, could you hear her barking? She's been making so much noise outside.
I couldn't really hear her, to be fair.
So. A little bit.
It blanks it out.
Yeah, I think it cuts sound cover.
Good girl. Good girl.
Actually, a quick one, Leroy, before we go off. So Flash, if anybody doesn't know, Leroy gave me a tortoise called Flash. A little mini tortoise. He's not so mini now. He's grown quite fat, like upwards. Why does he keep smashing his head off the keeps banging his head off the wall and stuff? Is he getting a bit horny or something? Or?
He's challenging somebody. He's come on now, out. Right, out.
He's challenging, so he's getting
out.
He's trying to fight the walls.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like a little tortoise. You never heard so much noise. I had to put him out the other day. It was like a fucking Rottweiler.
Yeah, he's practicing. That's what they do to each other. They butt each other.
Yeah,
book
he
you
must
to the
need a bit of a
challenge.
mate, but I don't know. Oh,
Yeah,
I
he's,
don't know.
he's,
Handle the
he's
tortoise in the
practicing.
house.
Start butting you soon. You won't be careful.
Oh, he sometimes comes over and has a butt on the sock if I've got no
Yeah.
shoes on. He like, whoosh. I tried to, he bit my finger the other day.
Oh,
As
shit.
usually I'll put it in, I'll have a little, and he'll have a nip, and it actually hurts. So I don't know. He might be going through a bit of puberty or something.
Maybe, yeah.
But how long have you had him now? Then?
Oh, Leroy, my timeline's horrendous. If you ask me, I'd probably say 2-3 years, but it's probably longer. Because Leah's like 9 now, and
Yeah,
you gave it as a gift to Leah, didn't you? After she came
Yeah.
to visit.
I'm fascinated with snap turtles. I keep looking at them online.
Oh, they're deadly, mate.
Yeah, mate. They're like fucking horrible little bastards. That's
Look
what
at
I
that.
keep looking at.
Yeah.
I handled one.
I would
Fucking
love some
deadly.
turtles, but they look like like hard work to look after, don't they? With all the kind of cleaning out and stuff. And, yeah, Flash just has a bath in the. Give him a bath in the sink with a toothbrush.
He's
once a
happy.
week. Clean his thing out. He's happy, other than going around stomping around. Like I was upstairs the other day, I couldn't get to sleep. I tried to have like an afternoon nap. He's like,
Imagine
what's
little.
going on down there? It's like a Rottweiler in the kitchen because I let him off in the kitchen for a roam around.
As he just floats around in there.
Maybe it's time we need to get a female for him, mate.
He's a bit
Yeah, but that's the thing, because I keep him in the house, and it sounds weird that I keep the house. He's got it enclosed like a tortoise enclosure. And I remember getting the electrician out to put because you said you had yours in the shed, Leroy.
Yeah.
And the electrician said, "Oh, what do you want to supply to your shed for?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to put my tortoise in there." He's like, "Oh, I keep mine in the house." I was like, "Does it not smell a bit, or like, is it not a bit?" He's like, "Nah, I can't." And honestly, you can't smell him or anything. He's got his enclosure. But obviously, if I've got two, they're going to be. I've heard the action down yours, Leo, when they kind of.
They make some
squeeze
sound,
and
don't they, when they bang?
Yeah, they'd have to go in the shed, and I don't think he would like that, to be honest.
He's too used to the comfort
Ah,
zone.
He's been in the house now.
To be honest, mate, if he's got a buddy,
He might not
and
give a
if
fuck.
he's got enough, if he's got a buddy to knock fuck out of.
Yeah, I might look into it then, because I do need to clean the shed out. I might get a little sex parlor in there for him. That is tortoise only fans up.
A little sex swing. Like,
Oh,
I might have to get a
yeah.
tortoise now, just for the shits and
James,
giggles.
get a tortoise. They are honestly, they do have Leroy. They do have a bit of personality, don't they?
Oh,
They have,
yeah.
like, smiley eyes and stuff. And I'll pick it up one
Yeah.
morning and give him a tickle. Yeah, I think you should get a tortoise, James.
I'm going to start looking now, fuck. My cat will be like, what is that? But he won't be able to do nothing to
Isn't
it.
there usually like a wait list for a tortoise, Leroy? 'Cause you
Yeah,
gotta wait for them to
they're quite hard to get hold of.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I better look
Yeah.
into it soon.
I
See,
don't think this,
Bronson, when we first sort of had
Yeah.
Bronson's the big one. Him and Creedy never got on. Creedy wherever Creedy laid down in the garden, Bronson would be straight over there, nipping and butching her. But now they're best of buddies.
Yeah.
They're really best of buddies.
James, if you get a tortoise, I'll get Flash a companion. There's a deal.
Okay, all right. I'll speak to Yannicka, see what she
We'll
says.
be in the tortoise squad.
I'll run it by the boss, haven't I?
what would the cat think? My dog.
That's
would
what I don't know.
think-
I don't know, but I think
Yeah.
the cat would be intrigued, but I don't think you'd try to do anything bad to it.
You'll see the cat sat on his back riding around.
It probably would, yeah. My cat's getting
I
pretty
think,
calm
I
as
think
he's getting
if the
older.
cat had a go, his head would just be.
Exactly. So I don't. Yeah.
They get his own back. They get their own back.
I can't see my cat actually overreacting much to a tortoise. I think a turtle was a tortoise.
Horse.
Tortoise.
Yeah,
I think-
tortoises are non-amphibian ones.
Yeah, I'm so shit with this kind of thing. But my cat would probably watch it. I can imagine him watching it a lot, but I don't think he'd do anything
You never know.
because he's a watcher.
It's a watcher.
He's a peaker watcher. Yeah,
Right, so next time we come on, James will have a
I'll
tortoise.
have a tortoise called I don't know, Esmeralda.
I might get a rash.
He'll have a rash.
Yeah, I could have a rash by next week.
Yep.
Right, so should we hit Sasan up for the next one? I know he's keen to come on. He said he wants to come on and have a chat.
Yeah, it'd be nice to speak to. I ain't seen him for a bit. No,
Yeah.
not live anyway. I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, be nice.
Yeah, we can all just hound him.
Yeah.
No choice then.
No, he actually got in touch because we were chatting about some.
He did say.
things
You
about
did say.
some
Yeah.
shoulder issues and stuff because Sasa's having some shoulder problems and I had some shoulder problems back in the
Yeah.
day.
You can't rotate this, can he?
Yeah, he's having a bit of problems getting the lats out and stuff. And he said, give me a shout if you want to come on the podcast. So
Yep.
I always appreciate you guys coming on because we're not a big podcast. I know you guys go on like the awards.
No, this is awesome. I like this because I can just truly just talk about British shit. Like
Yeah.
it's a bit different when you're speaking to your American counterparts because things are kind of like, well, Canadian to be fair. Things are kind of, you have to kind of all meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, it's kind of like you just really be what you want to be.
Yeah, we're just waffling about nothing, but people seem to like it, so it's all good.
Mate, even if it's, you know, even if it makes a few people a day, it's worth it.
I'm just glad I
it's
get
just
to
a chance to
chat
have a
to
catch up, isn't it?
George.
Because we don't.
We're
Life's
also
so busy
isolated.
nowadays. Everyone's
Yeah.
just running and flying around. We don't have that much to catch up,
It's
unfortunately.
true, man.
That
It's
much
true.
time.
Too little time. Too little
Right,
time.
gents, we'll lock it there because I don't want to keep you too long. I know Davis's bedtime's at least.
It's
10
nearly
o'clock.
it feels like my bedtime now, man. I'm fucking pooped. I'm gonna go and have a bath and fall asleep in it.
I hope you don't have to get up like crazy o'clock in the morning or and sit in that traffic again.
No.
Is that all? Is that
6
finished
o'clock.
with now?
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
That's still early to me. That's
Get some sleep, big man.
Yeah,
Right, Ed, I'm gonna have to go. Listen, it's been emotional. It's
Go
been
on, man.
emotional as usual.
good
Yeah.
to see you, mate.
I'll give you a ring tomorrow, Your
Yeah,
Highness.
yeah, we'll have a chat, mate. We'll have a
Yes.
proper catch up.
All
Right,
right.
Ed, Dan, look after yourself. Stay safe.
Big love, man.
And you, James, mate.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Right, speak to you soon, mate.
Speak.